Okay, I just wanted to cover something very quickly. I've readjusted the syllabus, and I believe I sent out an email, but I just want to make sure everybody understands that um, we aren't going to have a midterm on the 6th week. Instead, we're going to do it on the 8th week. The reason being is I'm going to be out of town and be at Boy Scout camp. Anyways, but on the 8th, that's the midterm, that's only going to cover weeks 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay? So only these 5 weeks are going to be covered on the midterm. Then on the final exam, again, do not come to class on, what is that, the week of the July 9th, I believe. And then the same thing for the final, do not come that week either, but that is going to cover these 2 weeks and these 3 weeks. Okay, so array lists are pretty easy to understand. We just have to realize that there is a bookshelf. We have to add a bookcase, I should say. We're going to add the shelves, and then we're going to load data on those shelves. Arrays, once you have the number of shelves set, you cannot add or remove shelves. They have to stay at that number of shelves. With an array list, that is more dynamic. It allows us to put shelves in, take shelves out. So it's a lot easier to use. And again, we have to make sure we use the less than and greater than symbol telling what type of data is going to be in there. Okay, I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on this, but I do want to cover what is in chapter 12 in the Watermelon book, and again, I do have those chapters out there in the e-learning section. So, so it's basically allows us to kind of start using GUI, that's short for Graphical User Interface. It starts allowing us to actually start what's that? Oh. So it allows us to actually start presenting something to the end user that allows them to actually have a graphical, like a text box and all that sort of thing, allowing them to see it more like a Windows application should. So, in Java, you use a thing called a Java Foundation class, or JFC. Within JFC, you also use a thing called an Abstract Windowing Toolkit, or AWT, which also has this thing called the Swing class that creates a graphical user interface. GUI is also short for GUI. So on page 256, it talks about some of the different components we're going to utilize. For those of you who've ever done any Visual Basic, this is old hat, because Visual Basic is all about GUI. So we have a thing called a label, and it's just that. It's something that, I'm sorry, what? We're in the Watermelon book.
Okay.
756.
Thank you.
So a label is just that. That's something that just displays text. We can't change it. We can't do anything. It's just there to display text. A text field is like a text box. It allows the user to type data into. A combo box, that basically has a list of items in there that allows the user to select one or many of those items. We have check boxes. If I have a series of check boxes, I can check one, none, or all.
Hey, this is our web design class.
Exactly. We have radio buttons. Radio buttons are just like the old radio buttons in the car, that if you have a series of radio buttons, you can only check one. If you try to check another one, the other one becomes unchecked. We have a thing called a slider. Allows us to move this thing within this. In fact, if you look up here at this picture, there's a slider right there. And then a button is just that. Up there in that picture, we see the close.
And where's your yes number?
This is something, again, if you ever did Visual Basic, this makes more sense, but it's called event-driven programming. What that means is the user is going to do something which causes an event to happen. That can be take their mouse and hover over something. They can click on something. They can do a right click on something. They can click and drag. Those are all events that basically happen. So what we have to have is this thing out there called an event listener. And it's just a thing out there kind of going, okay, oh, I hear something. It's basically a slider. Someone's basically moving a slider 3 clicks. And that's basically what that means there. So, we need to create a window. And so, probably the easiest thing to do is just go ahead and utilize, just grab what is in chapter 12. So I'm going to come over here and create a new project. And I'm going to call it chapter 12. And then I'm going to copy in everything from the P drive from chapter 12. So, come down here. Oh, where is my P drive? Do I not have a P drive? Well, that's just crazy. Do you have a P drive? Do you have a P drive? Wow. Let me have to get them one at a time now. Okay, not a big deal.
Yeah, because I grabbed something from you earlier. What chapter are we grabbing?
Chapter 12. So, CIS 250, summer web, source code. Oh no, it's not 250. What am I thinking? It is 155. Thank you. What the heck was I thinking?
I haven't put the source code in that one.
Right. So it wants a program called Simple Window. Okay, so let me copy that. Pain in the butt, but we'll get it. We'll get it just the same.
Can you scroll down on your... I need the last one.
What's that?
On the last one, I need the last one.
Okay, so if we take a look at this program, first thing you notice we do have squiggly lines underneath a thing called Simple Window. So if I point to the red squiggly line, it says we need to create a class called Simple Window, and where is the, oh, you know what, I do need Simple Window. I'm missing a class. So let me grab Simple Window. Now I'm good to go. Okay, so we take a look at Simple Window. Here it basically says public class. Now notice we have an import Java x.swing. Now again, that's importing a whole lot of stuff from the swing category. So we come in here, we say public class Simple Window extends JFrame. Now if you remember from the abstract, that says that we're going to capture everything that's inside of this class and put it inside of Simple Window, and then we can add more things to Simple Window. So I have a public Simple Window left and right parenthesis, which is a no-ard constructor. I'm going to say the window width is 350 and the window height is 250. So I've created two constants. I say set title a Simple Window. Set size, window width, window height. Set default close operation, J frame exit on close. Set visible equal true. What the heck is going on here? Well, since we are bringing the J frame has all of these windowing things that allow us to create windows. So, set title is part of the J frame, and it says, hey, again, that's a method. Where's that method? It's inside of J frame. And it's going to go ahead. So when we see a window, that little title bar at the top, it's going to have a title called a simple window. What is the size of this window going to be? Well, it's going to have a width of 350 by 250. And then the default close operation is exit on close, meaning that when we exit out of the program, it will automatically exit out of that window frame as well. Set visible equals true says go ahead and display this window right now. Now what does it have in it? Well, it has nothing right now. So if I run this guy, look at that. There's my simple window. It's got nothing in it, but it does have the title, a simple window in there. Okay? So pretty cool. When I click on this X, that's an exit. Default close operation, J frame exit on close. That's basically what just happened there. Okay? So as you can see, pretty easy to make a window. Pretty easy, not too bad. We're going to look at embedded main, which is on 761. Double click on embedded main, there I have. Public class, embedded main extends JFrame. It's got a window height of width of 350, window height of 250. So I've created two constants with integer variables or integer data in there. I've got embedded main, a simple window. Here's my width and height. Default close operations, JFrame dot exit on close, meaning when I close that window, it will close the program. Set visible equals true. I come down here, I've got my void main. Look at this, I got a public static void main, and I say embedded main, EM equals new embedded main. And so this right here will automatically execute this constructor up here. So notice I've got this class, it's got everything all in one. It's got my public static void main, which is going to actually automatically, so this method will automatically execute when I run this program. So again, if I run it, we'll see pretty much the same thing, a simple window. So the whole point of that is to let you know that we can actually put the public static void main and the class in one class. Why Something came up. Okay, so again, a couple of different ways to get this thing to work. Now, we're going to open up the kilo converter. Again, it's a really pain in the butt ski to. So kilo converter is up here. Um, okay, so if we take a look at this guy, it says, again, kilo converter class extends to JFrame, so everything inside JFrame gets brought in. We got a private JPanel panel. Ah, what's this? Well, this is basically a JPanel, which is kind of like a window. JLabel, we're going to call it message label. Private JText field, kilo text field. Private JButton is calc button. So these things are all things that are built into the JFrame. So panel, message label, kilo text field. So we got a text box, calc button, and we've got always have to tell the size of this window. It's 310 by 100. Then I've got kilo converter. Now notice it's got the same name as our class, so that makes it a constructor. It'll automatically get executed. We're going to set the title to kilometer converter. We set the size to the window width and height. What's going to happen on the close? Well, we're going to exit on close. Then we're going to execute this method called build panel. So down here is build panel. I've got another method called add panel. This time I'm putting panel inside of it. So whatever's up here in this particular object will get passed to add panel, and then I go ahead and say set visible equals true. So in build panel, I go ahead and say message label equals enter the distance kilometers. That's a label. The kilo text field says new JText field 10. That means it's going to have a width of 10. Calc button is a new button that says calculate. Panel equals new panel. So basically creating a panel object. We've created the object up here. This basically down here just instantiates it. And then I say panel.add message label, panel.add kilo text field, panel.add calc button. So what it says is go ahead and add this guy to the panel, to the window screen. Add this text field to the window screen. Add this button to the window screen. And then on the add panel, where's the add panel? Oh. Where's add? That must be down here somewhere.
Oh, wait,
I don't see it. Where is it? Oh, down here. Okay. This is where it basically gets the add part. Okay. So that's where it gets. So when we call the add up here, it's basically executing these lines out down here. And then notice I got a public static void main. So again, that's in there. That makes this program executable. And it says new kilo converter. Go ahead and run this guy. And this is where it builds the panel. It's 310 wide by 100 tall. Enter the distance of kilometers. I click on it, and I type 100, and I click calculate, and nothing happens. Why? Well, did we put any code in the button? No, we did not. There's no code in that button. So, all this is showing us is how we can create a window with buttons and text boxes and labels. Okay? Now, let's go ahead and add the next item, which happens to be, I'm going to go to kilo converter phase 2. And I'm going to go ahead and grab kilo converter phase 2. And so this guy, same thing, class kilo converter 2 extends JFrame. We got our panel, we got our message label, we got our text field, we got our button, we got our window height and width. I go ahead and in my constructor, I say set title, kilo converter, window width and height, what to do on the close. I want to go ahead and call this method, and in here this is going to then add all those features to the panel. Except this time, private class calc button listener implements action listener.
Nope, I still have dog
So this guy is saying, so here's what this is saying. We now have a class called calc button listener, and it implements the action listener. And you remember I talked earlier about the listener. That guy is looking for some event to happen. In this particular case, it says when we click the button, or this is an actual class inside of this class. So we have a class inside of a class. Usually unheard of, but these are one of those instances where it's completely okay to do. So this class says I'm going to implement the action listener, and the action listener is another class that basically gets brought into this guy. It's kind of like the abstract, it's basically an interface. So then I say public void action perform, action event E. So that is saying this is the event that I'm listening for, and when this event happens, this guy's going to get executed. So final double conversion equals, so I basically create a constant called conversion at 0.6214. I got another variable called string input, another variable called miles, which is a double. Then I say input equals kilo text field dot get text. So look what that's doing. That's going to that text field on the panel. It says get the text from that text field and throw it into input. Then I go say miles is the double, is equal to double dot parse double input. So it's taking this guy, which is text, converting it to a double, multiplying it by conversion, and then throwing it into miles. And then I use a J option pane to display whatever kilometers we typed in is equal to that many miles that's been converted. And again, we've got a public static void main. I just say new kilo converter 2, and it basically gets that class working. So again, I run it. So we've seen this before. It's the same exact screen we saw on the other one. This time I'm going to type in 100. I click calculate, and now it comes back and says 100 kilometers is 62.1399999 miles. Okay, so pretty cool stuff. So this time our listener was out there listening. It got the click button event, captured it, executed the code, and life was good. What do you think?
I'm not curious.
Okay. So again, we used that action listener that basically said, hey, you had a click event of clicking on that button. I'm going to go ahead and capture that guy. And that's what this guy does right here. Action performed, action event E. So this E says, what did you do? I clicked on a button. That's the event. It basically then gets thrown into this action performed. Then the action perform will do whatever needs to happen at that point. Why don't we just go ahead and let's end it here tonight, and we'll pick up some more of this stuff next week. But realize that tonight's homework is, if you go to week 4, click on week 4 homework. I want you to build that Java program with an array. You're going to basically create an array of a double S. You're going to call it S is your array. It's going to be a double type. I want to return the total rainfall for the year, the average monthly rainfall, the month with the most rain, and the month with the least rain. So you're going to need 4 loops. First loop is going to total all of them together. The second loop is going to take that total and divide by the number of elements. And then as you go through it the third time, you're going to find out which one has the greatest number. And then the next one's going to find out which one has the lowest number. Okay? Any questions? Okay, we will call it quits there tonight, folks. Again, email me if you have any questions at all.